Intro. There comes a moment in every man's life when he hears the words that slice deeper than rejection itself. She's not ready. She needs to find herself. She's not emotionally available right now. And in that instant, brother, your chest tightens, not from anger but from confusion. You wonder how something that felt so real, so warm, so alive, can suddenly dissolve into uncertainty. Cornel West once said, "You can't lead the people if you don't love the people, and you can't save the people if you don't serve the people." But let me tell you something powerful. That same truth applies to love. You can't truly love someone who hasn't yet learned how to love themselves. And you can't save someone who's still running from their own reflection. When she says she's not ready, most men take it as a wound to their ego. But a wise man's a man grounded in self-respect and emotional clarity, sees it differently. He doesn't beg. He doesn't chase. He doesn't argue with her decision or try to convince her otherwise, because what he understands is this: readiness isn't something you can force. It's a spiritual alignment, a timing of hearts. You see, the modern world teaches us to chase love like a race, to prove ourselves worthy through constant pursuit. But real connection, real intimacy, that's not earned by chasing someone's absence. It's revealed in how you stand in solitude when they walk away. When she says she's not ready, it's not always about you. Sometimes she's battling demons you cannot see, patterns of disappointment, a fear of vulnerability, or a broken faith in what love can be. And the truth is, if she's lost in her own storm, it's not your job to become her shelter. It's your job to become your own peace. So in this video, we're going to break this down. We'll explore what to say when she says she's not ready, but more importantly, how to be when she says it. Because words alone don't change the moment. Presence does. Clarity does. Strength does. Let's go deep into the soul of emotional availability, the meaning of self-respect, and the wisdom to know when to stay and when to walk away. Understand the truth behind "I'm not ready." When she says, "I'm not ready," the average man hears rejection, but the evolved man hears revelation. Cornel West often reminds us that to be human is to wrestle with brokenness. And brother, that's what she's doing. She's wrestling with her own sense of self, her worth, her story. But here's what most men miss. "I'm not ready" isn't always about timing. It's about truth. She might not be ready because she's still healing from someone who broke her trust. She might not be ready because she's afraid that love will cost her freedom. Or she might not be ready because deep down she knows she cannot meet the depth of the love you're offering. So what should you say in that moment? You look her in the eye and you say, "I understand. Take your time. I respect that." You don't manipulate. You don't guilt trip. You don't beg for another chance, because the man who respects her space earns more respect than the man who fights her truth. When you tell her that, with calm, grounded sincerity, she'll feel something she hasn't felt before: safety. And that's the paradox of maturity. The moment you stop trying to convince her is the moment she starts to see you differently. You see, brother, your energy speaks louder than your voice. When you stay centered, when you don't collapse emotionally, you tell her without words that you're not desperate, you're disciplined. And that's when she begins to question her own decision. Because deep down, every woman wants to feel safe in a man's steadiness. So remember this. You can't make someone ready for love, but you can become the kind of man that love can recognize when it finally arrives. She may walk away today, but if you carry yourself with dignity, you plant a seed in her memory, a reminder that not every man loses himself trying to be chosen. Stand in your power, not your pain. Now let's go deeper, because this is the point where most men break. They hear "I'm not ready" and they crumble inside. They start replaying every moment. What did I do wrong? Was I not enough? Should I have said something different? But Cornel West would tell you, never forget that justice is what love looks like in public. And justice, my brother, begins with self-respect. You must be just with your own soul. You must give your heart fairness. You cannot beg someone to love you, but because love that's begged for becomes pity. And pity is the slowest poison to a man's spirit. So when she says she's not ready, don't fight to change her mind. Stand firm in your own. You say, "I hear you. I wish you the best in finding what you're looking for." And then you step back, not out of pride, but out of peace. Because what you're doing in that moment is declaring to the universe that your love deserves reciprocity, that your energy deserves a home that can hold it. And here's the thing most people don't realize. Emotional unavailability isn't a verdict. It's a season. But if you stand still waiting for her to be ready, you freeze your own growth. Men who rise don't wait for permission to heal. They move, they grow. They transform their pain into wisdom. You must remember, the right woman won't be confused about you. The right woman won't need to find herself before she finds you. Because when she's healed, when she's balanced, when she's ready, she won't run from your depth. She'll rise to meet it. So don't resent her for not being ready. Bless her journey, but stay loyal to your own. Don't say, "I'll wait for you." Say, "I'll keep growing, and if our paths align again, we'll both be ready." That's how a man of depth speaks. That's how a man of honor moves. Because Cornel West teaches that love is not sentimental. It's steadfast. It's not about holding on. It's about holding true. You are not defined by who stays or who leaves. You're defined by how you carry yourself when they do. So the next time she says, "I'm not ready," you don't shrink. You don't question your worth. You simply say, "That's okay. I hope you find what you're looking for, because I've already found my peace." And that's the moment, brother, when you stop chasing love and start embodying it. Don't try to fix her, heal yourself. When she says she's not ready, your instinct might tell you to wait, to help, to prove you're the one who can fix her heart. But that's not love. That's attachment disguised as purpose. Cornel West once said, "To love is to fight, to preserve, to endure." But that endurance doesn't mean staying in someone's confusion. It means staying true to your clarity. You cannot heal a woman who is not ready to face her own wounds. You cannot save someone who's made comfort in chaos. Your love cannot reach a heart that's locked from the inside. And this is where most men lose themselves. They confuse patience with self-sacrifice. They think loving her harder will somehow make her heal faster. But love is not CPR. It's not your duty to breathe life into a soul that's chosen stillness. So instead of asking, "How do I make her ready?" ask, "What does this moment reveal about me?" Why are you drawn to someone emotionally unavailable? Why do you think love has to be earned through suffering? Why does her distance make you chase instead of reflect? Because, brother, when you chase what's running away from you, you're not pursuing love and you're escaping loneliness. You must learn to sit with your own silence, to face your own emptiness, to fill your own cup before you pour into anyone else. Healing doesn't happen when she comes back. Healing begins when you stop waiting for her return to validate your worth. So when she says she's not ready, take it as a sacred mirror, a reflection of where you, too, may still need to grow. Don't fix her. Fix your focus, because a healed man doesn't chase, he attracts. He doesn't beg, he embodies. He doesn't try to be chosen. He becomes the kind of man that can choose wisely. Your healing is your revolution. And when you rise above the impulse to fix her, you reclaim your power, not over her, but within yourself. When she says she needs to find herself, this is a phrase that echoes across generations. I need to find myself. And every man who's ever loved deeply has heard it. But let's unpack what that really means. Cornel West says, you can't know yourself without wrestling with suffering, without wrestling with death. So when a woman says she needs to find herself, what she's really saying is, I don't yet know who I am when I'm loved this way. She may feel the weight of expectations, the fear of losing her individuality, or the guilt of not being emotionally aligned. It's not that your love isn't good. It's that your love has exposed the parts of her she's been avoiding. And brother, that's powerful. But it's also dangerous. Because when someone is confronted by a love that asks for authenticity, they often run back to comfort, even if that comfort is pain. So what do you say when she says she needs to find herself? You look at her, not with disappointment, not with anger, but with understanding. And you say, I hope you find everything you're looking for, even if it's not with me. That sentence carries grace. That sentence carries freedom. That sentence shows the depth of a man who loves without possession. Because true love doesn't hold, it honors. If she returns, she'll come back as someone who's found her reflection, not someone running from her shadow. And if she doesn't, she's made space for you to meet someone who already knows who she is. You see, when you let go with love, you teach the world how to treat you. You teach her that your value doesn't decrease because she's uncertain. You teach yourself that peace is more precious than proximity. The greatest strength a man can show isn't how tightly he holds on, but how calmly he lets go when the moment demands it, because letting go doesn't mean losing. It means trusting that the right soul will recognize you without needing to find themselves first. And when you walk away from confusion, you walk toward clarity. Redefine what readiness means. Let's shift the lens for a moment. We've been talking about her readiness, but what about yours? Because sometimes, brother, she's not the only one who's unready. Sometimes you are too, but your ego blinds you from seeing it. Cornel West says, the condition of truth is to allow suffering to speak. So let's let your heart speak for a second. When you met her, were you really ready to love? Or were you just tired of being alone? Were you seeking partnership or validation? Did you want connection? Or did you crave distraction from your own emptiness? Because readiness isn't about timing. It's about wholeness. And if you enter love looking to be completed, you'll always feel half empty when she pulls away. The emotionally available man doesn't chase love to escape himself. He shares love from the overflow of his peace. He doesn't fear solitude. He thrives in it. When she says she's not ready, use that moment to audit your own readiness. Ask yourself, am I grounded in who I am? Do I know my worth without someone's affection? Do I have direction without her validation? If the answer is no, then her absence is not rejection. It's revelation. It's a divine pause meant to prepare you for something deeper. Because the truth is, the universe doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you're ready to sustain. So maybe she's not ready. Maybe you're not either. And that's okay. Growth isn't linear. Healing isn't instant. But what matters is that you stay awake to the lesson. Don't let her not ready break you. Let it build you. Let it strip away your illusions and expose the parts of you that need your own attention. Because once you are ready, once your heart is strong, your boundaries clear and your soul centered, you'll realize something profound. You were never waiting for her to be ready. You were waiting for yourself to finally become the man who doesn't need convincing to be loved. The art of loving without losing yourself, brother. Let's speak about something sacred. The art of loving without losing yourself. Cornel West once said, you can't have love without death. And what he meant wasn't physical death, it was ego death. Because every real connection requires the death of who you pretend to be, so you can stand as who you truly are. But here's the tragedy. Too many men lose themselves not in love, but in the fear of losing love. They shrink to fit into someone else's uncertainty. They dim their light just to keep someone's attention. They trade their peace for proximity. That's not love. That's emotional compromise. When a woman says she's not ready, you have to ask yourself, are you willing to sacrifice your authenticity just to be kept close? Because the moment you do that, you no longer love her. You serve her illusion. To love without losing yourself means you hold your truth even in the presence of her confusion. You express your feelings without expectation. You offer your heart, but you guard your spirit. Cornel West reminds us that love is not sentimental. It's a form of justice, a discipline of care. So you must learn to love in a way that's disciplined, not desperate, grounded, not grasping. The man who stands in self-awareness becomes magnetic. He doesn't convince. He compels. He doesn't chase validation. He radiates conviction, and that's what separates the men who are remembered from the men who are forgotten. When she says she's not ready, and you can still smile, still speak kindly, still wish her peace, when that's not weakness. That's emotional mastery. It means you've reached the level where you no longer seek love to fill a hole, but to share your wholeness. Remember this. A man who knows his worth can never be abandoned, because his peace is his home. When silence becomes your strongest answer, there comes a time when words no longer serve your growth. When silence says what speeches cannot. When she says she's not ready, you may feel tempted to explain, to plead, to prove, but sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing. Cornel West teaches that courage is the enabling virtue for any practice of freedom, and silence, real silence, requires courage. It's easy to speak. It's easy to explain your worth, to justify your value, to remind her of what you brought into her life. But the man who knows himself doesn't need to repeat his truth. He lives it. When you respond to confusion with calmness, to uncertainty with stillness, you become unforgettable. Because silence, when rooted in strength, echoes louder than begging ever could. Let her feel your absence. Let her wonder how a man could walk away without resentment. Let her sit in the quiet space you leave behind. The kind of space that whispers of maturity, depth, and peace. That silence, that's not emptiness, that's power. When you stop trying to convince someone to see your value, you finally start living in it. So if she says she's not ready, and you know in your heart that you've shown up with truth, integrity, and love, then your final act is not to chase, but to release. Not out of indifference, but out of grace. Because real love doesn't need to be forced. It flows back naturally when it's meant to. Become the man peace returns to, brother. If you take nothing else from this message, take this: when she says she's not ready, that's not your ending, that's your awakening. It's your reminder that your purpose isn't to convince someone to love you. Your purpose is to become so aligned, so peaceful, so whole, that love recognizes you without confusion. Cornel West said, "You can't lead the people if you don't love the people." Now I'll add this. You can't love anyone if you haven't yet learned to love yourself through solitude. You must build a life so full, so rich in meaning that no absence can make it collapse. You must walk through heartbreak not as a victim but as a student, because the end of one chapter doesn't mean failure. It means preparation. Every heartbreak refines your boundaries. Every goodbye deepens your wisdom. Every "she's not ready" strengthens your readiness for someone who will be. One day you'll meet a woman who won't make you question your worth. She won't need to find herself because she's already found her peace. And she'll see yours too. And in that stillness, love won't feel like a chase. It'll feel like home, so until that day, and stay grounded, stay kind. Stay in your truth, don't lose your fire because someone couldn't handle its warmth. Don't close your heart because one person couldn't meet its depth. Keep becoming. Keep healing. Keep rising, because the man who can walk away with peace is the man every woman remembers long after she said, "I'm not ready." And that, my brother, that's when you've truly won.